Well, my dear royal watchers, gather round, because today we're diving headfirst into a story so utterly brimming with irony, so pungent with palace intrigue, that you simply won't believe it. We're talking about a royal saga that doesn't just unfold behind gilded gates, but right there, out in the open, with a smell that could knock your socks off. Yes, our focus today is on none other than Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and the rather unconventional welcome he's received at his new digs on the sprawling Sandringham estate. And let me tell you, if the whispers from within the hallowed halls are to be believed, he is absolutely furious. The first hint that something extraordinary was afoot wasn't the arrival of discreetly curtained removal vans. Oh no. It was something far more visceral, far more, shall we say, olfactory. Over the past few days, locals residing near Marsh Farm, Andrew's new official residence, noticed an unusual flurry of activity. We're talking about no fewer than 20 tankers, massive vehicles lumbering back and forth, relentlessly unloading an estimated 150,000 gallons of liquid manure onto the verdant fields that cradle the farmhouse. Can you imagine? Just as a former senior royal is settling into his new abode, the very air around him is thick with the earthy, unmistakable aroma of, well, fertilizer. For many, this detail alone, the sheer audacity of the timing, has become the headline, overshadowing even the move itself. Now, a relocation for Andrew was certainly anticipated, a long-rumored whisper in the royal corridors. But the sheer scale of the preparation, the very visible changes to the property, and then, of course, the aromatic welcome, have transformed this quiet transition into something far more dramatic. Just this week, 3 rather imposing removal vans were spotted pulling up to Marsh Farm, confirming beyond a shadow of a doubt that the royal reshuffle was indeed underway. And hey, race, a delicious little detail for you. The company entrusted with this delicate task? None other than Gander and White, a firm renowned for its expertise in transporting priceless fine art. This, naturally, sparked immediate speculation that treasured pieces from Andrew's former, much grander residence, Royal Lodge, are now being meticulously installed within the more modest confines of the farmhouse. We're talking about items that were once proudly displayed in a 30-bedroom mansion, some even with ties to the venerable royal collection itself. What a journey for those canvases and sculptures, from palatial grandeur to pastoral proximity. But even before those specialist vans began their procession, Marsh Farm had already undergone a significant metamorphosis. Builders, bless their tireless souls, have been toiling away, transforming the property from a humble farmhouse into something fitting, or at least more fitting, for a royal occupant. Large, imposing wooden security gates, a feature conspicuously absent before, now stand sentinel at the entrance, a clear declaration that this isn't just any farm. Inside, the work has been equally relentless. Interiors perfected, plush carpets laid, rooms repainted in what one can only imagine are suitably subdued royal hues, and the landscaping meticulously manicured. While this flurry of activity has been ongoing since the early days of the year, it has undeniably accelerated in recent weeks, as if racing against an unseen deadline. And then, as if on cue, came the tankers. According to those eagle-eyed locals, massive tractors and those distinctive white tanker vehicles have been systematically spreading liquid organic manure across the fields directly bordering Marsh Farm. Now, before you jump to any conclusions about a deliberate snub, though the timing is rather exquisite, isn't it? Let's delve into the factual backdrop. This isn't some random act of agricultural mischief. Oh no, it's all part of a much larger, meticulously planned agricultural system that was put into motion when King Charles III, our reigning monarch, assumed control of the Sandringham estate's operations back in 2018. Under his stewardship, the estate embarked on a bold and admirable shift towards fully organic farming practices. The estate, in its commitment to sustainable agriculture, maintains a robust herd of approximately 500 cattle. The manure these bovine beauties produce is then carefully processed through anaerobic digestion, transforming it into a nutrient-rich, natural fertilizer brimming with essential elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So, in essence, what we're witnessing is, by all accounts, standard, indeed exemplary, practice for a modern, organically run estate. Yet, Despite the perfectly sensible agricultural explanation, it's the sheer scale of this operation that truly grabs your attention, isn't it? 150,000 gallons, delivered over multiple days, precisely as Andrew is making his grand entrance. Some might even suggest the timing is, shall we say, impeccable. And the plot thickens further. This isn't just a one-off event. There's a longer-term strategy at play here. Earlier this year, in January, planning permission was officially granted for the construction of a truly colossal slurry lagoon on the estate. Picture this: a body of liquid fertilizer the size of 3 Olympic swimming pools, strategically located less than a mile from Anmer Hall, the cherished country retreat of none other than the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Catherine. So, while the immediate spectacle of manure spreading might seem rather peculiar at first glance, it is, in fact, an integral component of a much broader, environmentally conscious transformation of how the Sandringham estate is managed. Still, the optics, my friends, are simply impossible to ignore. Here we have Andrew, a man who once luxuriated in the sprawling comfort of a 30-bedroom mansion, Royal Lodge, now settling into a comparatively modest 5-bedroom farmhouse. And what surrounds this new abode? Working farmland, active fertilization, and those newly installed, formidable security gates. It is, undeniably, a starkly different environment from the one he has grown accustomed to over decades. And if the reports from inside sources are anything to go by, this adjustment has been anything but easy. Whispers from those close to the situation reveal that Andrew was, to put it mildly, deeply reluctant to make the move to Marsh Farm in the first place. Imagine the shock, the sheer upheaval, for someone accustomed to such grandeur. Sources have described the farmhouse as significantly smaller than any residence he has occupied in living memory. The challenge wasn't just adjusting to the space, but grappling with what precious belongings to bring. His extensive collection of artwork, for example, is reportedly being moved in carefully orchestrated stages, but the harsh reality is that not everything will fit. Even the smallest, most poignant details underscore this seismic shift in lifestyle. His famously extensive collection of teddy bears, a surprising and rather endearing quirk reportedly numbering around 72 fluffy companions, has been drastically culled. Only a solitary bear, a lone sentinel of his past, is said to have made the journey. It might sound trivial, a mere footnote in a royal drama, but it speaks volumes about the brutal reality of downsizing from a vast estate to a relatively modest property. Staffing, too, has undergone a dramatic transformation. The full retinue of household support he once commanded is no longer in place. Instead, it has been reported that limited assistance might be available on an occasional basis, an arrangement that has, predictably, caused a fair degree of frustration for someone accustomed to constant attendance. The reaction from the local community, as always, has been particularly telling. In nearby King's Lynn, residents have been remarkably open and forthright about their opinions regarding the situation surrounding Andrew. Some have simply expressed a desire for distance, a wish to remain unentangled in the royal drama unfolding on their doorstep. Others, however, have voiced far stronger sentiments, speaking openly about accountability and the enduring quest for justice. It's safe to say, my dears, that this is hardly a warm, welcoming embrace for the newest resident of Marsh Farm. All of this, every single detail, is unfolding very quietly, very deliberately, and almost entirely behind the scenes. There has been no public appearance, no carefully worded statement, no acknowledgement whatsoever from Andrew himself since he returned to Wood Farm after being arrested and questioned by police last month. Since that dramatic moment, everything has been happening away from the public eye. The extensive renovations, the upgraded security measures, the agricultural activity that now so vividly defines his surroundings, and finally, the move itself. And critically, this doesn't feel temporary. Marsh Farm is not being treated as a short-term stopover, a transient way station on a journey to somewhere else. The sheer scale of the work, the installation of those permanent, imposing gates, and the meticulous relocation of his most personal and cherished belongings all point to one undeniable conclusion. This is intended to be a long-term arrangement, as so, what do we have now? A former senior royal, once a central figure in public life, a man accustomed to the grandest of stages, now settling into a quiet, 5-bedroom farmhouse. His new world is defined by working farmland, the rhythms of organic operations, and a level of isolation that is, frankly, impossible to miss. For many of us, looking in from the outside, such a life might even seem rather idyllic, perhaps even luxurious in its tranquil simplicity. But after hearing all that I have, after absorbing the numerous reports from inside sources, it's abundantly clear that Andrew is not handling this seismic shift with grace or equanimity. The word that has been whispered, indeed, shouted, over and over again in relation to Andrew is entitled. And someone so deeply steeped in that sense of entitlement would surely find it incredibly difficult, perhaps even impossible, to perceive the privilege in this relocation, despite its obvious comforts. And so, my friends, the focus of this entire, fascinating move has narrowed down to one single, inescapable detail. Not the specialist removal vans, not the priceless artwork, but the undeniable, unforgettable fact that, just days before he officially moved in, a staggering 150,000 gallons of liquid manure were spread across the fields directly behind his new home. So, I ask you, my discerning audience, do you believe this move was simply a practical necessity, a logical step in the royal reshuffle? Or do you think, perhaps, it sends a much clearer, much more potent message about where Andrew now truly stands within the intricate, ever-shifting tapestry of the royal setup? And how, truly, do you imagine Andrew is responding to this rather pungent predicament? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Share your theories, your insights, your royal gossip. And if you crave more fascinating updates like this, more deep dives into the dramatic world of the monarchy, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single moment of the drama.